Hello and welcome back to the Skipper's View podcast, episode 238. My name is Hagen. That's Brett there with me. Brought to you guys as always by Chinook Cedary. Use the code The Skipper's View for 10% discount at checkout there. Brett, how are you, man? I know you got lacrosse heating up now. You got some games starting here pretty soon. So obviously we're talking a little bit before, but how you doing?
Good. I don't think there's many lacrosse coaches out there for high school level who also run a baseball podcast. I'm a little weird. Everyone who listens knows I'm a little weird and quirky. It just so happens I'm cursed. My two favorite sports are spring sports. So, love it. I've been doing good though. And I'm just getting excited seeing fantasy drafts happen, mock drafts, top 10 lists. Baseball's coming. I cannot wait.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's anyone that's even you're the only person I know that's a lacrosse guy and a big baseball guy. I've never seen someone that likes two of those sports like pretty high, not just like, oh, I like it a little bit here. Like actually you like both the sports a lot, watch both of them. So it is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I came up a lacrosse guy and I played for a little bit, played in high school a little bit. And then when my athleticism, left me very early in life, it was clear that, my lacrosse career was done. And I was like, I just got into numbers. I love stats. I love statistics. And that's why I love baseball. It's just like the sport itself is the most like statistic. And everyone's like, oh, we need the stats like baseball. But it's like, I think baseball, just because compared to basketball, compared to football, like, baseball, everything's different, and that's why you have to take in stats. Like baseball, the stadium dimensions, every stadium you play in has different dimensions. Football, it's 100 yards by 50-yard field. Basketball, the courts are all the same size. The three-point line is exactly where it was. The free throw line is exactly where it is. Like, that's what I love about baseball. Really, like, counting stats matter, especially in reps, and that's why you see the better, we're able to evaluate guys really 2, 3, 4 years in their MLB career, not year one, versus like the NFL, the NBA, if like a guy's not scoring points or like rushing the ball north of 4 yards per carry, we know like, they're probably trash. So like, and by trash, I mean like just not top tier pro, but like they're still professional athletes. That being said, you're going to lead us through the episode today. So you just cut me off. Let's maybe jump into it because we'll probably do 30 minutes today based off the agenda.
I mean, yeah, we got big news pretty much here at the top. Honestly, like the biggest news, only huge news I would say we have this week is that MLBPA, Tony Clark, resigned, the leader for the MLBPA. At kind of a bad time, it's seeming obviously less than a year until the looming lockout, probably one of the biggest ones coming in baseball history for a CBA here. But obviously better to get him out now. Obviously, it was some rumors that he's been embezzling some of the money in there, a little corruption in there, and then also had a relationship with his sister-in-law, who's also worked in the PA office. So good that we got this guy out of the MLBPA, at least in time to find someone else. And as we said, I mean, Bruce Myers, the guy who was the number 2 in the MLBPA and was in charge of leading the negotiations last time and was going to be in charge of it this time, he's now the head. So the negotiations shouldn't be changing too much, which is good. But it's probably better that we got this fixed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think that the MLB, which I really do like, that they got this, like the MLBPA got this, moved on very quickly. And like they had to, because this is, in my mind, the owners, they're going to be like great white sharks. They're going to smell blood in the water and they're going to use every facet of what comes out of this story against the Players Association here in the CBA talks when the CBA expires, in December of 2026. So we're 10 months away from that expiring. That's the off season next year. We're all expecting a lockout. And I think that unfortunately, because the selfish actions of one person, you just might have cost a lot of players a lot of money. And like the owners why would you not? Every single sport you play in, you kick them when you hold them down when they're down, right? And the owners are going to look at this and be like, why should we respect what's going on in the Players Association right now? Like, you guys can't even contain yourselves and like manage yourselves well. And that's exactly what I would be saying, especially if I'm fighting over millions of dollars to not come out of my pocket, instead go to other people's pockets. Like, I know. And for me, I'm on the player side. So like, I want to see the guy, like, this, I'm not for a salary cap. I'm for a salary floor. But I think that in any profession, if you're able to create a market for yourself and you can, you're generating X amount of revenue, there's no cap of where you should be capped at if you are producing said revenue and you could tie it back to your personal performance.
I mean, I think just even well too. Like, I think it just looked a lot worse than it actually is. Obviously, just an awful story in the first place. Like, this guy's been the head lead since 2013. I think he was the fifth executive director too of the PA ever. So we're getting a new one now. So it's obviously weird with change. It doesn't really happen often. But I think the fact that Bruce Meyer was the lead negotiator before is now in charge. I think that's good on the negotiation side of things. And we got to remember too, like they're here to serve the players. Like they're not choosing what we want here. Like it's like they're helping serve the players. There's player committees. There's a lead for every single team. I know the Braves have two there. As Jeb made a joke the other day about platooning that. But I mean, they're doing that for every single team. So they're serving the players here. They still are taking the players' interest in what they want to do. So I honestly think this is probably better that we got a little bit of a corrupt guy out of the MLBPA, and hopefully Bruce Meyer in 10 years we don't find out he was doing the same thing there. But I think this is probably better for MLBPA to get him out of here.
Yeah, and Bruce Meyer, it seems like he is kind of the perfect fit with his background to kind of lead the MLBPA through this labor negotiations. I'm hoping that we're going to be talking about this a lot over the next 10 months. Like this isn't the first, it's not the last time we will be talking about the CBA and these negotiations. This is just, it's insane to think like this is going on at the executive director level at the MLBPA. It's like, come on, don't, what's the expression? Don't shit where you eat. I think like that would be the most appropriate for this, but this is a wild story. Definitely a wild story. And I don't want to take Bruce Meyer out of, his job that he just, technically earned. He was voted in unanimously as the interim. Do you know any other names that have popped up for, the eventual like permanent replacement?
I mean, Bruce Meyer is probably going to be that lead name out there who's probably going to, at this point, I would probably assume he just ends up staying. Obviously, it's going to depend how the CBA ends up going and how their negotiations go this year. But some names I saw, there was a few other guys in the PA that were named in there. I don't remember the names off the top of my head. And then former players that people would know. I know Andrew Miller is one that people have thought been a good one. That was a discussed name from the players they were talking about the other day. And a surprising one too, which actually I kind of like, is Daniel Murphy. That was another one too that was also discussed. So it would be kind of cool to see if you get another former player in there like Tony Clark was, and you actually kind of know the guy better. But I just think at the end of the day, like, yes, I want to see Daniel Murphy or Andrew Miller leading over Bruce Meyer because just like name wise, that sounds cooler. But obviously, at the end of the day, I think just who's going to do the best job for the players, not just who's the leader.
So funny enough, like I know for a fact I have Tony Clark's 2001 Detroit Tigers MLB Showdown card because that's really how I knew his name. And like I don't want to get shit for this, but I'm gonna. I didn't know who Tony Clark was based off his MLBPA stint. I knew him as a player, and like anyone who shames you for that, that's like, why would I know the Player Association's executive director? Why do I need to know that as a fan of the game of baseball? Like, I'm not fighting for their pensions and their pay. Like, I don't really care at the end of the day, the X's and O's of how it gets done. I just hope it gets done. That's where I stand. So, like, to me, I was like, Tony Clark. I was like, the former Tiger? And then, like, sure enough, that's exactly who the MLBPA director was. And obviously he resigned. Andrew Miller is an interesting name. Obviously him being a Yankee for a little bit, I knew him from there, but I didn't know he was like president of the Players Association type guy. Like that didn't strike a chord with me, but that's an interesting one. Daniel Murphy, I think, would be an interesting one as well.
Yeah, Murphy seems like more of a long shot. I think if it's going to be a former player, it's going to be Andrew Miller. Just from the things that I've heard, he's very good, and I believe he was on the board when he was a player for a little bit on the PA. And I just think he's a lot of people. He knows the game well. He knows what players want and how to represent players well.
Interesting.
We got some more bad news, I guess you could say. Here is some injuries that happened this year or this week. Pablo Lopez, the Minnesota Twins pitcher, he has a significant tear in his UCL, and most likely outcome here is Tommy John surgery. He's going to get a second opinion first, but all things looking like he's going to get Tommy John surgery, which absolutely sucks for the Minnesota Twins. I mean, they kind of had a weird offseason now, a new GM in there now, but you lose your number 2 in your rotation when he's on. He's arguably an ace. I mean, he was dealt with a shoulder injury last year, but I mean, he's a couple of tweaks away and just being healthy, honestly, for being a very good pitcher. And we've seen that a few years in the past when he got Cy Young votes. So that does suck because now you just your rotation goes Joe Ryan straight down to Bailey Ober.
You know what? So you bring up a great point right there about you now start with Joe Ryan and then go to Bailey Ober. So the first thing that clicked in my head the second this happened was like, all right, like Taj Bradley, Zebby Matthews, Simeon Woods Richardson. Those are your 3, 4, and 5 pitchers right now in the rotation. And Bailey Ober's your number 2. Right now, according to Fangraphs and the predictions, not one of them in the starting rotation, besides Joe Ryan, is supposed to have a sub 4 ERA. Only Joe Ryan, and he has a 3.8 predicted ERA for this year. I think that taking Pablo Lopez out of the rotation, this was like not a blessing, but a blessing in disguise. Where now Minnesota, if they don't start off the year hot, I'm trading Joe Ryan to a contender for as many prospects as possible. I'm trading Byron Buxton away. I'm going to get away from any bad contracts or any long-term contracts, and I'm going to focus in because I got now moving forward Luke Keeschel, Walker Jenkins when he cuts the call. I still think there's something in Royce Lewis if he could stay healthy. Brooks Lee, very young, and like he doesn't have to be the best player anymore. I think that they could really doesn't include some of the other guys in their prospect system that they got. And I think the Minnesota Twins, like, they could have a nice little core, and then they could finally just like try and add some veteran pieces to like mid-tier deals, not the long-term deals, but 3-4 years, overpay someone on AAV, and they could really build a nice team based off this. And it's never a blessing when someone has to get Tommy John, but this could have been a blessing in disguise because we debated all year long, and I'm not talking just you and I'm talking about the baseball world, whether Minnesota was going to be sellers or, buyers during this offseason. And clearly they kind of stayed put for the most part, which was like, not the result anyone was really expecting. I don't know about you. I was expecting the Twins to move on from some players already.
I mean, yeah, I was expecting them to move on. Obviously, it changed now when you get a new GM in there a few months ago, so the things kind of changed. But they wanted to keep Buxton, Lopez, and Ryan and build around those guys. But I know new GM could be changing there too. But I just think in the first place too, I think this team's gonna be sellers. Like you're just looking at the projection systems on Fangraphs, they're projected for a 79 and 83 record right now. I don't think even with Pablo Lopez, they were that good of a team. I think the Tigers are the clear best team in that division right now. I know their offense is maybe not as strong as some other teams, but I think it's them and probably the Royals and Guardians. I think it's kind of a three-team race there for the division. I really don't put the Minnesota Twins in that division race right now, especially after you have Pablo Lopez go down.
Yeah, and I didn't even name like the Kalen Culpeppers, the Emmanuel Rodriguez's, the Gabriel Gonzalez's of the world. Like they do, and Brandon Winnicor as well. He's in high A. He's a 21-year-old. He's got some pop. And Charlie Soto, another arm, a reliever, not a reliever. He'll probably be a starter. He's in high A. He's 20. He's probably got a couple of years. But they have a lot of prospects. It's not the best farm system, but it's intriguing. It's definitely intriguing. So outside of the Twins, who they're a yawn fest anyway every year. Let's move on to the Braves.
Yeah, they had some other bad news come out there. Obviously, we had the Spencer Swellenbach last week about his elbow injury. Now, Hurston Waldrop has the same thing too, and he's going to undergo elbow surgery. There's no timeline for his return. I think they select they would hope around the All-Star break, maybe July. That would be the earliest. There's a chance he still pitches again this year. There's a chance he doesn't pitch this year. But that does suck for an Atlanta Braves team, especially when we talked about the rotation last week. I mean, it goes Chris Sale, and then you don't know what you're going to get, Spencer Strider. He has not been good in 3 years. He just hasn't been a good pitcher. I know he had Tommy John surgery, so it's very different there, but he hasn't been a good pitcher. Ronaldo Lopez, who had the luckiest sub-2 ERA I've seen in my life, he's a 4 ERA pitcher, pitched with 2 ERA a couple years ago, coming off injury. He's your 3. You got Grant Holmes right now as your 4. Bryce Elder's in that rotation right now. And Grant Holmes and Bryce Elder are both out of options, so they got to stay on the team or they're DFA'd. I mean, this just almost guaranteed you 20 to 25 starts of a Bryce Elder, who I don't think any Braves fans like. I know they have some good prospects that can come up there and fill some innings. Like you have a Didier Fuentes, probably needs a little more time in the minor leagues. You have a J.R. Ritchie who could make it too. But this is huge for the Atlanta Braves. Just sucks on their arm.
Yeah, and like the other thing is like Smith Shawver, who very young, they had a lot of promise. He had UCL surgery. That happened last May. So it hasn't even been a full year since that's happened. So you got Strider, who has not fully rebounded, to your note right there. His fastball, it's different. It's not getting the rise it used to get, and that's what made it such an effective pitch. Schmishalver's out, Schwellenbach's out, now Hurston Waldrop, and it's like, did the Braves really shoot themselves in the foot by not adding starting depth? And like, they just missed out on Chris Bassett. They just missed out on Walker Buehler. Like, who do you pivot to, I guess, Hagen, if you had to go get an arm?
I mean, like the only like good arm left that could fill a spot in rotation that's left out there is Lucas Giolito, who I think would actually be a good fit for him there. Finished through there. I think his last like 15, 20 starts of the year, he had around a 3.3 ERA. He was top 15 in all of baseball in that stretch. But I think that'd be probably the way I would go there. I just don't know if they want to spend the money on that and enter into the luxury tax. I guess we'll just have to see. But Strider's fastball is something I want to hit on too. Is 2022 is kind of the year we saw Spencer Strider like break out and be Spencer Strider. That year, his fastball velocity was 98.2. In 2023, it was 97.2. In 2024, it was 96.3. Last year, it was 95.5. The last 4 years, his fastball has gone down in velocity every single year. And yes, I know arm surgery's baked in there, but he just has lost, and his fastball is not good anymore. It's not that good of a pitch. I know it was an elite fastball before, but if you drop 3 ticks on your fastball, it went from being one of the highest pitches velocity-wise in Major League Baseball, fastball-wise, to 69th percentile, which is still above average, yes, but that's not elite fastball like it was.
And that's what made him great, was the fastball and different versions of the fastball. I'm looking right here, like according to Spot Track, these are the available free agents right now. Lucas Giolito, Frankie Montas, Max Scherzer, Alex Cobb, John Gray, Tyler Anderson, Patrick Corbin, Wade Miley, Nestor Cortez, Zach Littell, Michael Kopech. There are 2 to 3 arms in this mix. I think the Braves can get every one of them on a 1-year, sub $5 million deal. Like, you can't tell me that you can't get Zach Littell on a 1-year, $5 million deal to come pitch in Atlanta. And that would be, I think, wonders for Atlanta right now. Scherzer, he's holding out, but at least sign him. If you sign him now, you could put him on the IR. And like, he's playing for technically a contender. So like, because we know Max Scherzer's not going to sign with like the Rockies. Like, he's looking to win a championship at this point of his career. I don't know. I think that you could get John Gray. He throws a lot of innings. Why not get him for the back end of the rotation here? I think Atlanta, they might be this. This is kind of interesting, Hagen, because now what happens with all the pitching missing? What happens if Atlanta misses the playoffs and has a losing record for the 3rd straight year?
I'm so glad you said that.
Is Anthopoulos now in the hot seat?
I don't think he'd be in the hot seat. He's kind of had some questionable moves. I think this roster construction isn't really the best, especially with like the bullpen where all your relievers have no options. I think that's kind of an awful way to start your bullpen out for the year, and just 5 guys might get DFA'd from the bullpen this year. So that sucks. I don't think he'd be on the hot seat though. But I am glad you asked what happens if it doesn't work out and they miss the playoffs, because after this injury, I was looking like, where can I bet the Atlanta Braves to miss the playoffs? Because I think I'm going to do that, because I'm the last year and a half, I've been all in on the Braves, like the second best roster in baseball. I had them to win the World Series last year. I had them coming into this offseason. Until about a month ago, I had them as the second best team in baseball, still behind the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now I'm just to the point where I'm just like, this rotation is not good at all. This offense it has to be really, really, it has to be top 3 in baseball to be a playoff team, honestly, at this point, which it can be, yes. But I just think there's so much to ask right for them that I don't have them inside the playoffs anymore. I mean, I think they're the 3rd best team in the division now. I think the Mets and the Phillies are better right now. The Phillies rotation is still way better than theirs, and they don't even have Zach. That's not even if you factor in Zach Wheeler there. The Mets have a better floor there. I mean, I'm just not really in on the Braves. I think they're kind of my team that I'm kind of starting to go all in on this year.
Dude, if this is accurate, I am taking my paycheck tomorrow. I'm depositing $50 my DraftKings, and I'm wasting all of it to bet on the over-under. According to, this is AI, just Google quick search, and this is from BetMGM and Covers.com. The Braves over-under for 2026 is 88.5 wins. They won 76 games last year, and their rotation's worse this year than it was last year. There's no way I'm not taking that bet. What? 88, 80,
I mean,
you have to win 89 games. That's a lot of wins. That's a successful year if you win 90 games.
I mean, what the Brewers had, I believe, like 94 wins last year, and they're the best team in baseball. I mean, and I can confirm that number is accurate because I was checking today, and it is 88.5.
Dude, I feel like it's free money. I feel like that, or like maybe Vegas is predicting they're going to make some blockbuster trade for like Skeens at the halfway mark or something like that. But like, no way they're winning 89 games this year. That can't be right.
I don't think they're any either. It is right. I mean, I literally looked today. It is right. I mean, I don't think they're doing that. That's definitely one I would probably bet on. I would probably take them to not make the playoffs, honestly, see if I can get better odds on that. But it's definitely worth a little sprinkle.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to another National League team trying to bolster their rotation. We mentioned it earlier with Walker Buehler going to the Padres. So let's just jump and talk about the Padres. AJ Preller makes another move and doing exactly what he does, always being on the phone and figuring out how to create value for his team in San Diego. So, Hagen, I'm a big Walker Buehler fan, so I'll let you go first because I definitely have some stuff to say about Buehler.
Yeah, I actually really like this move a lot for the Padres. I know it's Walker Buehler's not the old Walker Buehler, but this guy can still be a 5 in Major League Baseball. I believe that. I believe that just being another full off season, healthy behind him, I think he can. I know he was awful last year. Don't get me wrong, but I think especially on a minor league deal, there's no such thing as a bad minor league deal. Yeah, if it doesn't work out in AAA, he's not gonna affect the big league club if he's not good. But I just love this, and I just think the bigger thing too, and I put out a tweet about this the other day, is AJ Preller did a phenomenal job this offseason. I think for the financial constraints they have on his team right now, he really couldn't add any AAV. If anything, he had to almost go down in AAV and payroll this year. So for around $10 million this year, he added Griffin Canning, German Marquez, Miguel Andujar, Nick Castellanos, and Walker Buehler, all for a combined $10 million. That is phenomenal by AJ Preller. Those are two guys who could be starting for you every single day in the lineup. And two of those guys are probably going to be in rotation for the entire year. I mean, that is phenomenal value by AJ Preller being able to get that job. And I just think he deserves a ton of credit for what he did.
Yeah, and like, I know this is not pretty. It's not the sexiest look at it, but like, Michael King is locked down. And I think Michael King, when fully healthy, he doesn't scream SP1, but there are a lot of teams where he would be the SP1 for. So, like, he just happens to be the Padres starting pitcher, like game day, opening day. Then you finish that off with Nick Pivetta, who had a great year last year and is a solid pitcher. Joe Musgrove, he was injured, what, was it a year and a half ago or a year ago with his injury? He sat out for like, what, a full year, if I'm remembering that correct?
Yeah, he'll be back healthy for the first time this season.
So, obviously, we don't know. That's a toss-up, but we know Joe Musgrove in his past is an excellent pitcher. Walker Buehler, yes, he's had, honestly, since 2022. So it's been a 4-year like hiatus, but 2022, he pitched in 12 games. He missed the entire 2023. I'm assuming he got injured in 2022. And he had a 4 almost on the dot ERA through 12 games there in Los Angeles. Got injured, missed the entire 2023, 2024, pitched, what was it, a 5.38 ERA over 16 games. Obviously did not come back from Tommy John the way, and he was also moving around a lot, moving out to Boston, moving from LA. That's across the country. That's a totally different lifestyle. And look where he signs a minor league deal. He's offered a minor league deal. He probably could have gone anywhere, right? He went right back to Southern California, where he clearly wanted to be. So I think the sunshine, I think being more around where, he wanted to be, and the talent's there with Walker Buehler. Like, he has 2 top 10 Cy Young finishes in his career, 2019 and 2021. So I don't know. I like it. And by like it, I mean, I love it. He's 30 years old right now, maybe 31. If he just he is 31. So, He'll be 32. He won't be 32 for at least a few months. That's not that old. And for a small deal, for a team that really could use a guy like to really step up in the SP3, SP4 slot, I think this is a fantastic move for the Padres.
I mean, yeah, last thing on Walker Buehler here, too. I mean, 3 years ago, this guy was a consensus top 10 pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. Then he had the Tommy John injury, and he's just kind of searching to find it, trying to get back and try to find the old ways. But I think a lot of people forget that 3 years ago, like at this time, he was a consensus top 10 pitcher in Major League Baseball.
It's not lost on me because I had him in the keeper league and it was like devastating because like right when I finally, usually in our keeper league, like somebody, you usually keep a pitcher, like one guy who's like your ace that you're like, all right, at least I'm solidified. I have one guy. And then you keep a bunch of hitters. When he got moved in 2022, that is when I acquired Corbin and Julio. And I had Machado and I had Freeman. I was like, we are going. We are starting to run and cook. And then he got injured, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I like waited on pitcher, and like it was just a disaster from there. So, I'm all in on Walker Buehler. He's the man. He's big. He's the man. I love Walker Buehler. So I'm excited for him to hopefully get it back into gear in San Diego in 2026.
Yeah, and some news too on one of his former teammates, Tommy Edman with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's going to be out for the start of the season with an ankle injury. I don't think this is really anything to worry about too much. The Dodgers obviously know that we're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. Take as much time as you need. Let's make sure you're 100% before you go. Let's not start off behind the 8 ball here. Get fully healthy, go out there. We have great options there to fill in. I don't think anyone needs to worry about this at all.
My one thing is I wanted to point out, this is how loaded the roster is for the Dodgers. Like Tommy Edman slots in as their second baseman right now and Tommy Edman's a utility guy, right? He can play all over the field. Like they got Teoscar Hernandez, they got Andy Pejas, who the bat, but the fielding's there clearly, and they got Kyle Tucker now in the outfield. So we knew Tommy Edman was going to play the infield. Hai-Seong Kim is his like backup. Like think about how loaded. Like Hai-Seong Kim last year when he played, he was great, but he platooned, and now it's like they're going to use him for an everyday role, and it's like, God, the Dodgers, they just do not rebuild. They reload, and it's insane.
I mean, yeah, another team, too, that's very good at literally just reloading, as we see, too, with the Freddie Peralta trade that recently happened. Milwaukee Brewers, they had manager Pat Murphy. He just got signed to a 3-year extension, which is, I think everyone saw that coming, that he was going to be staying there in Milwaukee. Obviously won the manager of the year last year. And he's just the right guy for the job out there in Milwaukee. His contract was set to expire for this year. So he'll be there for the 2029 season. I think that's great for Milwaukee.
Pat Murphy, do you know what his managerial record is?
It's got to be around like 40 games above 500.
He's 232 and 188, so he's wow, that's almost spot on 40 games. It's a little I think it is 40 games exactly. Oh my god. He's got a 552 winning percentage, 2 manager of the year awards, and I think San Diego, they kind of missed out on not retaining Pat Murphy. He only managed there 1 year, and imagine San Diego and their spending ability with Pat Murphy versus, we know Milwaukee's like farm system is better than San Diego's, but they usually trade their guys once they become too expensive. So interesting to see that Murphy's going from one side of it to the other, but well earned. He'll adds 2 years to his contract length, and one of the best managers in the game. Good for him.
Yeah, I'll rotate into here's something too. Something you put in here is, so it's a pretty interesting thing. I think this is kind of becoming a normal thing now in the offseason with Scott Boras, is that he crosses the $1 billion mark with his clients' earnings, what's going to happen this season. So he's getting himself, I believe he takes 10%. So back-to-back off seasons of at least $100 million in commission he's going to be making. So great for Scott Boras, first off. And I mean, the contracts that got him, the 5 biggest ones that got him over the $1 billion mark, Dylan Cease, $210 million to the Toronto Blue Jays. Alex Bregman, $175 million to the Chicago Cubs. Cody Bellinger, $162.5 million to the New York Yankees. Pete Alonso, $155 million to the Baltimore Orioles. And Ranger Suarez, $130 million to the Boston Red Sox. And last year he crossed this mark too, like as I said a second ago. And obviously that was a little bit different because he had the big help of Juan Soto's contract. That was $765 million. That is going to end up going up to $805 or $815 million, I believe, after he puts his opt-outs in there. So, I mean, it just got Boras dominated the offseason again.
What do you think his net worth is? According to Google. So, like, we don't know. Yeah, I'm a big believer. You don't know shit about anyone's financials until you see, like, numbers on paper, like, see statements. What do you think his net worth is?
$675 million.
A little much, but dude, he's worth $500 million according to Google. Like, how is an agent worth $500 million? Like, 0 time spent on the field earning the dollars. All he does is just like tell his guys, honestly, hey, just wait till they're desperate and then sign. And like, that's all he does. Like, that's it. It's not actually what he does. He's the CEO of his own company that he formed. He's done a lot of things to accomplish, but I'm just saying, as a fan, as a person who's like in the industry, it just seems like this is a guy who's like, no, just wait till you get your full value, and you wait till teams are desperate, and that's where you sign. And it seems to work for him. So $500 million is insane, and like he's probably got some offshore accounts and some side hustles of some sort, investing his money somewhere in like some solar wind farm off the coast of Korea or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, his money is probably everywhere, which is insane.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason why every top free agent is pretty much going through him. I mean, even next year, he's going to get $35 to $45 million just in incentives, just off Tarek Skubal alone next offseason. So that's me a big one to watch. I mean, this guy is going to be probably going to be a billionaire, obviously, when it's all said and done.
Yeah, dude, if he left his money in Vanguard and just like let the S&P 500 touch it, it's 8% a year. So like, he can get there easily. I'm trying to see Scott Boras free agents next year. So I want to see who else he's representing next year. Should have pulled this up already. But outside of Tarek Skubal, who do you think he also has? Bregman, Pete Alonso, Cody Bellinger, and Corbin Burns. So I'm not sure, are all these guys, they all have opt-outs, right?
Yeah, all those guys are going to stay in those deals. So neither of those guys would be.
You think Cody Bellinger's for sure staying in his deal?
I think it's crazy Cody Bellinger got the deal he did. I mean, I don't know how the hell he got $162 million. I mean, I was so adamant, like when there was all the reports on the Mets were in on Cody Bellinger. I normally, there's 95% of the time I defend David Stearns like crazy. I have been gotten a lot of shit online for it for the last 2 years. So it's been very nice this offseason to see him get the love he deserves. If he would have signed Cody Bellinger, I would have been a crash out. I would have said a lot of bad things. I would have been very vocal about it.
So it's funny you say that. Like, I haven't looked into it. Like, I just, being the stubborn Yankee fan I am, I never had a doubt that Cody Bellinger was like really leaving, because I was like, he doesn't have the market. But I never understood it, like, because I feel like the time of questioning Cody Bellinger was really in between like Chicago and New York, right? Or even right before he got to Chicago, because the 2 years in LA he had in 2021 and 2022, negative 1.6 WAR. The following season, 1.3 WAR. But the next 3 years, in 2023, he put up a 4.8 B WAR season. 2024 put up a 2.2 WAR season, and then this past season 5.1. So the guy's almost generated 12 WAR, 4 WAR a year for the last 3 years, and he's playing in a short porch right field. He's a lefty, hits bombs. I don't know. I thought he was totally worth this, for at least for the Yankees, because if they could lock him up long, like what they did, you have to figure he hit 29 bombs last year. He's 29 years old. Like, I think with age, you get a little bit heavier with that and get some of the old man strength. Maybe the defense goes down a little bit, but he seems to me like I thought he was worth 162 for 5, but maybe I'm crazy.
I'm just not really like I guess my thing is more just like the years. Like I wouldn't want Cody Bellinger beyond 3 years. That was more the way I stood at it. And it's also interesting to Cody Bellinger. Like he has such a very interesting career path. Just like I don't know if I've seen a guy, at least in my time of watching baseball in the last like 10 years or so. I've seen a guy that goes from an 8-win MVP, just best player in baseball at the time, and then just sucks ass for 3 years in a row. Just isn't a good baseball player, and then becomes a top 30 player again, and then becomes mid for a year, and then becomes a top 30 player again. I mean, it's just such a wild roller coaster that he's had. And obviously, he's still probably top 30 to 40 baseball player right now in the world. So it's been pretty cool to see his career fold out.
Dude, he almost had a 9-WAR season in 2019 when he won that MVP. He had 351 total bases and led the league that year. He had 34 doubles, 3 triples, 47 bombs. He had 47 bombs and 115 ribbies with 15 stolen bases. He was an animal in his MVP year. But you're absolutely right. Like, who has a career like this where, like, so good, so young, and then a total drop off, and now it's like this is like a new chapter of like this is the mature Cody Bellinger years where it's like 3, 4, 5-WAR year, and I think he could do that for the next 3, 4 years. Why not? He's already a career 30.5 WAR. He'll probably finish at like, I don't know, 45, maybe 50 when it's all said and done. But that's assuming he has another good 2, 3, 4 years with the Yankees.
I mean, yeah, he's had a great career so far too. I think he's still going to be a very, very good player for the next few years. I think it's more just how is he going to finish his career in his back half of his 30s is kind of more the question, I would say.
Yeah. Well, we did not plan to talk about Cody Bellinger at all, and we've had a 5-minute segment about him. Let's do, to close out the show, take me through, let's start with our, we're doing the rotation rankings. All we're doing is just ranking them where they are, and we're only talking about 5, so obviously we've had a lot of crossover, but we could run through the rotation. So we're talking about the NL West today. We started in the National League on this segment 3 episodes ago. We knocked out the East, the Central, and now we're talking the West. And this is an easy one at number 5 for both Hagen and I. It's the Rockies. They are abysmal when it comes to their pitching staff. Hagen, at least they made some moves this year to try and make it better. When we're talking the Rockies, do you think this is the worst staff in baseball right now, or close? Obviously, it's close to. Do you think it's the worst one?
I do not know. I mean, the last 2 rotations in the divisions, we talked about the last place teams, the Cardinals and the Nationals. I said these teams are so bad I don't even want to talk about them for more than 5 seconds. I didn't talk about them at all. I kind of want to talk about the Colorado Rockies here because my bet of the year that I have this year, like that's like my hammer, is the Colorado Rockies over 55.5 wins. I think they're a 65-win team. I think they're 20 wins better than they were last year. They're not going to have a negative 350 run differential. Especially 2. You get guys like Jose Quintana and Tomoyuki Sagano. I know Sagano's going to give a ton of home runs, but you have guys who could just eat innings for you, and like guys like Jose, and they're not going to walk guys either. Like they're going to keep the ball in the zone. Jose Quintana's going to get the ball on the ground for you. He's going to keep the ball on the ground in that ballpark, which is huge for them. You get that Michael Lorenzen too, another veteran guy in there. You get 3 veteran guys in there and just eat innings for you. Fill that in with Kyle Freeland, who's been there. We know who he is. Yes. Chase Dollander still has electric stuff. I mean, when that guy's on the road, he's a very good pitcher. He just struggles when he's at home, as we all would expect there. But I think this Colorado Rockies team, they're probably like a bottom 5 rotation in baseball, but I don't think they're the worst. I think there's some that are far clearly worse than them.
I'll agree with you. And the one thing I'll say on the Rockies is like, this is why, for all those people who weren't really paying attention to the Baltimore Orioles last year, the Orioles were a heavy favorite coming into the year. Remember, like they had high expectations with the youth, and their big move was signing Tomoyuki Sagano, and it was like a 35-year-old pitcher from Japan who's never pitched in the major leagues is like your big. That's your ace in the hole, adding to the rotation. It's like, no, the Rockies got him a year later on a better contract, and like this is exactly where he should be. SP5 material, SP4 material, and like adding him to the mix is like he's your worst starter. It's like, okay, maybe the Rockies, I agree with you. Maybe they do have some with Lorenzen and Quintana and Dollander and Freeland. It's like, okay, that's not horrible. So let's move on though. Your number 4 and my number 4 are the same as well. So do you want to start us off?
Yeah, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks here at 4. I think this is a pretty clear 4 too. I mean, his rotation just not really that good. I mean, you have Merrill Kelly, who's I said it last episode or 2 episodes ago that I really like Merrill Kelly a lot. Merrill Kelly is a one I do not like whatsoever. But obviously, you're gonna have him and Gallen at the top. I think this is very contingent on how Gallen returns this year. Is he gonna be Zach Gallen of the past? That really changes things for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But if he's Zach Gallen of last year, his rotation's not very good. After that, you got Ryan Nielsen, Eduardo Rodriguez, who I do not want to watch that guy pitch a baseball game again in my life. You have him, Brandon Pfaadt, and Michael Soroka. I think Pfaadt could make a little comeback this year, be around like a 4 ERA guy. I like him a little bit. But then you have Corbin Burns, too, who's going to be back around the All-Star break, but I don't factor him in too much since he's going to be coming off Tommy John surgery, and you just know that the command's probably not going to be there. But so this rotation is not that great.
High risk, high reward. That's all I have to say for it. Like, that's exactly what it is. It's high risk, high reward. And like, imagine it pans out. Imagine Eduardo Rodriguez bounces back to form. Imagine Brandon Pfaadt becomes that guy who was minor leaguer pitcher of the year. Imagine Zach Gallen bounces back. Imagine Merrill Kelly just has another fantastic year. Imagine Ryan Nelson just continues and be's like, be's an excellent 4 for them. And then Mike Soroka, he had elite stuff at one point, and then he just kept getting injured and never panned out. Who knows? If he stays healthy and he slots in as the SP4, SP5, SP6 for this team, gives him some quality innings, it's a different story. High risk, high reward. Let's jump to number 3. Oh, sorry.
Last thing before jumping over, I was going to say, like, out of those things you can imagine, the one thing I can guarantee is not going to happen is that Eduardo Rodriguez doesn't bounce back, or that he bounces back. That's not going to happen. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez is, I said it before, I don't know why I have such strong feelings against him as a pitcher. It's nothing personal. It's just he's not a good baseball player anymore. So that being said, we'll move on to the number 3. And this is their only differences between the 2 and the 3 here. I had the San Francisco Giants at 3. You had the San Diego Padres at 3. Why did you have the Padres behind the Giants?
Well, to be fair, I ranked this before the Walker Buehler news, so I probably could have tweaked it a little bit. But for me, just walking through the Padres, we got Michael King, Nick Pivetta, Joe Musgrove, Randy Vasquez, Herman Marquez, and then obviously they could use Mason Miller as a starter. I don't think they will. And that doesn't include that they have Griffin Canning, Yu Darvish, and now Walker Buehler in the minor league system, all like at their disposal. And remind me, Griffin Canning, he's coming off a ruptured Achilles tendon. That happened in June. So like, he's a pitcher. I don't know in baseball compared to like football. I know it's like an 18-month injury, the Achilles. Same with basketball. Maybe he'll be back quicker than 18 months. I'm not really sure. And then Yu Darvish had internal brace surgery back in October, so he's out the entire year, actually. Sorry, I don't know why I even mentioned Darvish. I don't know. I just kind of like the Giants' rotation. I think that Logan Webb is consistently a top 5 pitcher that we never talk about. I feel that Robbie Ray, he's a Cy Young winner, and he's a lefty, which, I love having at least one lefty in the rotation. Even though my tweet the other day, if you saw that, shows that it's not good to have a lefty, according to the pitching factories. And then I like the consistency with after Robbie Ray and Logan Webb. Tyler Molly's a solid pitcher. Adrian Hauser, Landon Routt. I think that they have, they're not excellent 3-4-5s, but they're solid. And I think that they're a team that could probably go and get someone at the deadline. I don't think they have excellent prospects, but I think they can go get like a Scherzer. Tell me why they if you're Max Scherzer, why would you not sign with the Giants?
I mean, the only reason you would say no to that is just because you say you want to win a championship, and I just think this team that is very far away from being able to win a championship.
Maybe that's where we differ. I think that they actually have a much better shot than you think.
Really, I think honestly this team is pretty mid. Like I think this is a pretty 82 to 83 win team. Like I don't think this is. I don't like when I think about the Giants, I do not even really factor them into my head as a playoff contender, really, because I just kind of have my list so much shorter.
So, for me, I look at it just like if you get the Giants into the wild card, 2 of the 3 games that you're playing are up against Robbie Ray and Logan Webb. Those are not I don't think that's free money. I think that's like, holy shit, we got to go against Logan Webb and Robbie Ray now. And if they get, 2 quick wins, that's it. And like now they got Luis Ariz. The guy lives on first base. Rafael Devers, he's fantastic. He's one of the best players in the league. Willie Adames, they signed him to a massive deal for a reason from Milwaukee. Matt Chapman, not only is he a solid offense player, he's one of the best defensive players at his position at third base. Patrick Bailey, arguably the best defensive catcher in baseball. Arguably, I guess did Cal Raleigh win the Golden Glove last year? Sorry, the Golden Glove, the Platinum Glove. I meant to say.
I believe he did it. I mean, either way, though, the Platinum Glove and Gold Glove, those votings are awful now. They have fan voting now. The voting doesn't count. Patrick Bailey that's not even a question, honestly, in my opinion. He's the best defender, not even a catcher in baseball. He's the best defender in baseball.
Yeah, he's predicted almost 4.5 WAR this year from Fangraphs, and it's like his bat isn't doing that for him. It's all the glove. And then on top of that, like your worst 4 or 5 hitters in this lineup, Jung-Hoo Lee from the KBO. People have high hopes for him still. Harrison Bader, they just signed. Bader's a solid ball player. Bryce Eldridge, people think the sky's the limit for him. He's a prospect. If he pans out, and then your worst hitter is Heliot Ramos, who went on a tear last year, like, I don't know. I just think the Giants are a solid ball club. I just see it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is where we differ. At least for me on the rotation for the Giants and why I put the Padres ahead of them is I obviously, yes, I love Logan Webb and Robbie Ray. I like that a lot. But I'm not a fan of Landon Roop. I just don't think he's all right.
No,
I think you go Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, and I think you have 3 5s after that. Adrian Hauser, you know me, you know that's one of my least favorite players that I've ever experienced watch. Probably my least favorite pitcher I've ever seen pitch for the New York Mets. Him and Michael Tonkin were like 2 guys that, like, if they were on the TV, I would turn the game off because I could not watch them pitch. I know he was really good last year, but I just can't stand Adrian Hauser in a rotation. Tyler Mahle's coming off injury too. I know he was great last year too, but he's pretty much a 4 at best. He's not. He's a. You have Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, and 3 5s in your rotation. I just don't think that's very. Obviously, it's pretty middle to pack rotation wise, probably, but I just think they needed somebody else, a bigger name in there.
I'll say this: their bullpen is sus. It's so suspect. But then we could, jump off this because we'll see how this plays out at the end of the year if the Giants do in fact make the playoffs or not. The number 1 rotation, it's got to be the Dodgers. So they have, how many number 1s do you think they have? 4?
I think you'd probably say 2 right now. I think there was a point where you could probably say 4, though. You could probably say 4.
I'm just looking at it. Blake Snell is a number 1 pitcher. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a number 1. Glasnow, suspect number 1. Shohei Ohtani could definitely be a number 1. Emmett Sheehan's not a number 1. Roki Sasaki's not a number 1, not yet. And then that doesn't include like guys that you're just like waiting to come back from injury, like River Ryan, I think they have so much arm talent, it's unreal. But yeah, they're good. Are you gonna be surprised? Matt, actually, I shouldn't put it like this. Will you be annoyed if Max Scherzer signs with the Dodgers?
I mean, I think that'd honestly be hilarious if he did. If they did do that, I know. I just kind of look at him like, how the hell would they find him many innings? But the Dodgers, they're somehow when you hit June, they're gonna need innings from somebody. They're just what it's been the last 2 years. I mean, we forget that in 2024, that World Series run, they had Jack Flaherty and Walker Buehler coming off TJ, and that was it. Like they had a Yamamoto who was coming off injury too. Like Jack Flaherty was literally like the only reliable starter they had in the second half into the playoffs in 2024. Last year they had a ton of injuries too. But I mean, just this rotation is just so good. I mean, like you said, possibly 4 number 1s in this team. Emmett Sheehan's probably number 2 at his max in Major League Baseball. Roki Sasaki he has frontline stuff as well there. And then you in AAA right now, you have 3 dudes. You have 3 dudes right now in River Ryan, Kyle Hurt, Gavin Stone, like Landon Knack. You have 3 of those dudes are Major League caliber pitchers, like in rotations. And that's what I mentioned too. Like Bobby Miller is listed as a reliever now. Like Bobby Miller was a good pitcher not too long ago. I mean, I've never seen a team that has this many talented pitchers, 1 through 12, whatever you want to name it, in my life.
It would be cool to see Max Scherzer. So like I obviously there's no like it's not a Scantron examination getting the Hall of Fame where it's like, oh, you hit this criteria, you're in. Like we're talking this all entire offseason is Giancarlo Stanton a Hall of Famer if he gets to 500 home runs. It's like what? Like you would assume that 500 automatically gets you in, but that's not the case in baseball. Like yeah, you're really good at one thing, but there's other things in your game you're not, and you won't get in the hall that way. So Max Scherzer, though, and the reason why I bring this up, I've always been told, and now I'm looking it up, like having 75 WAR or north of 70 WAR is really like the safe line to get in. He's at 74.7. So I'm hoping he gets 0.3 this WAR and finishes the year on 75 on the dot and calls it a career. That's what I would hope for Max Scherzer. And that being said, that's my last thing for this week. We'll come back Sunday. Hagen, anything else from you? Do you want to talk about before we hop off?
I just want to say we got spring training games starting tomorrow. Baseball is officially back. Obviously, the Mets don't play a little bit tomorrow. I'm a little bummed on that, but I am very excited this year. My goal, I always have it a goal the last couple seasons to watch at least 100 Mets games, and I don't count that if I watch 3 innings. I have to watch at least 7 innings of the game to count it. The last 2 years, I think I was at 115 around both seasons. This year, I'm going to include spring training games, and I think I'm going to try to make that around 130, 140 games this year. I'm going to try to watch almost every single spring training game. I try to not miss Mets games too much. Obviously, in the first half last year, I have a list where I track them, and I believe in the first 80 games or so, I only missed around 7 or 8 Mets games to start the season. And then the team obviously became one of the worst in baseball, and I had about a stretch for a month where I watched about 1 game because I was just too frustrated with the team where I couldn't watch. But I'm very optimistic about the Mets this year. I know they're going to break my heart at some point this year, but very excited to be able to watch them play here on Saturday.
Nah, you're a good fan. I wish I could say I watch 115 Yankees games. That's insane. It's a lot of games. But that's it from me. Go follow us. We're doing really well on the website right now, getting a lot of daily active visits. So go check out our new blog, subscribe. If you want to become a pro member, get some of our premium content. It's $5 a month and we have no ads. So hell of a bargain. $70 for the year to help us, make a little money on the side while doing this and putting a lot of time and resources into this. So thank you as always for listening. Give us a 5-star rating if you think we earned it. And we're out. Bye.